Austin Rivers received the biggest bailout in NBA history, in world history, in U.S. history. Received the biggest bailout in U.S. history.
Look at this. Draymond Green is fully locked into podcast mode right now, and he's not holding back. Ever since that early exit, he's been grinding content non-stop, talking way more than we're seeing him hoop. We all know his track record, controversy follows him on the court, and fans have been calling him dirty for years with receipts to prove it. But now that his squad got knocked out in the play-in, it's like he redirected all that intensity into a whole different arena. And listen to this, his latest target is former NBA guard Austin Rivers. Yeah, Doc Rivers' son. Draymond's basically implying that Austin got paid off of his last name, like the opportunity wasn't fully earned. I'm not gonna lie, it's kinda wild seeing him pocket watching like this out of nowhere. But hold up, what if there's actually some truth buried in all that noise? You won't want to miss this, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Alright, let's get into it and unpack how this entire situation even popped off.
Everything hasn't just been one way. It hasn't just been like, oh man, Draymond did this, Steve's mad. I don't take that any way at all. Speaking of this December thing, I spoke to him after that and it was like, I don't think you like me. I don't think you've ever liked me, if I'm honest. Like, he cried. Like, really? However, what he's meant to me in my life, what he's taught me in my life, just telling them in our exit interview, the things that he's taught me about being a winner, I'm not sure where else I could have got that. I played for Tom Izzo, and Steve just took that to a completely different level, and especially showing me things about this level and winning. Like, I could never repay him for that. It's so important to who I've become. As much as he's done for me in basketball, a part of me think he's hindered me in my career and what I could have become. When KD came from 2016 on, I have not had a play in our playbook. Not a single play that we run for me in our playbook. This is 2016.
But I mean, how do you feature Draymond Green?
Feature him doing what?
I don't know.
Feature him doing what?
I'm trying to be fair to the context of this.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's utter ridiculous. And you know what's shocking? Because Draymond has such he has such a high IQ. That's a big part of his game, is how smart of a basketball player he is. So it bewilders me that he even thinks like this, because it's like, Draymond, them taking a chance on you and them playing you and Steve putting you at the forefront of that offense, making you be the point forward and kind of the, allow you to have that voice and the freedom to have your, whether it's spasms or when he loses it, or to be the emotional leader of that team. Steve let him be who he was. So to hear he was hindered, especially Draymond's never been an offensive score juggernaut. He's left open 80% of the game. No one guards him.
Now listen, Draymond Green is really reaching back into high school, talking like he and Austin Rivers were putting up the same kind of numbers. Make it make sense. Since when did 20 points and 28 points belong in the same debate? Nah, Draymond gotta chill with that narrative for real. Their schools weren't even facing the same level of competition, not even close to what Austin Rivers was up against. And hold up, he's way off with this role player talk too, because there are plenty of guys in the league who believe they could do more if they were actually given the chance. Just like him, let's be real, Draymond thrived in the role he was assigned. So I don't get why he's throwing shade at Steve Kerr like he was being held back offensively, because he already had the perfect opportunity to prove himself when Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson were both out during the 2019-20 season. You know what he did with that opportunity? He put up just 8, 6, and 6, on 38% shooting, by the way. And he only showed up for 43 games that entire season. Come on, we've seen this pattern. He's really quiet when Steph isn't out there carrying that gravity. He doesn't want that pressure unless Stephen Curry is on the floor, and that's been obvious time and time again, which is why Austin answered the way he did. And yeah, Draymond definitely didn't take that response lightly.
That's the case. I'm still with my first team. He was gone from his first team in 2 years. And so I just like, sometimes you just should not say something. Always isn't a time to, everything isn't something you should speak on. And I don't think that was really one for Austin Rivers to be bewildered about and say it's ridiculous, because The guy received the biggest bailout in U.S. history prior to President Trump bailing out the airlines when they needed it. Austin Rivers received the biggest bailout in NBA history, in world history, in U.S. history. Received the biggest bailout in U.S. history when his dad gave him $42 million. And I tip my hat to Doc. I pray that one day, it won't be $42 million then because NBA has gone up so much. But I pray that I can give DJ $200 million or give Deuce $250 million. I pray that I can do that one day. So I tip my hat to Doc.
So yeah, that's how it is. I'm still rocking with the team that drafted me, he said, doubling down hard while trying to draw a line between loyalty and how people perceive it. Then he pointed out that Austin Rivers was removed from his original squad within just a few seasons before pivoting to a bigger picture argument. Sometimes you just gotta stay quiet, he added, basically saying not every topic needs a hot take, and this wasn't something Rivers needed to act confused about. But hold up, this is where things got real spicy, because Draymond suddenly brought money into the conversation out of nowhere. He started comparing Austin Rivers' journey to what he called one of the biggest handouts we've seen in NBA history, hinting that his path was financially boosted because of his father, Doc Rivers. And listen, he wasn't done yet. He even made a point of saying he respects Doc and hopes to one day create the same level of generational wealth for his own kids, talking about setting them up with hundreds of millions down the line. But then he looped it back to his core message. Situation is everything in the NBA, and landing in the right system can completely shape your career. He used himself as the prime example, saying if the Golden State Warriors had never drafted and developed him the way they did, his whole story might have played out differently. In his mind, he earned every dollar, just like Austin earned his spot, but both of them benefited from timing, structure, and opportunity lining up perfectly. And he pushed back on the idea that this was just about a coach handing out checks, reminding everyone that front offices and ownership are the ones who actually make those money moves. At the end of the day, his message was loud and clear. Both situations came down to being in the right place at the right time and getting paid once you prove your value.
Come on, Draymond. This is ridiculous. Seriously. Ridiculous. But you know what? I'm going to address it because you crossed the line and you were mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick Show. But it's you, and I shouldn't be surprised. You always act irrationally, emotionally immature, and your anger always puts you in hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you can think of in high school. I was ranked number 1. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months. Something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop. Next. The NBA, hey man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years, but I'm not a Hall of Famer like you. So I'll give you that credit. All right, you got it. But let's peel back that onion and understand why. Easy, Tiger. Okay? You have the delusion, the non-wherewithal, the irony of you saying I'm part of the biggest bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you were the luckiest basketball player I think I've ever seen, especially in modern day history. Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with a Hall of Fame front office, Bob Myers, Hall of Fame coach, Steve Kerr, the greatest shooter of all time, and perhaps the top 5 player of all time, Steph Curry, Hall of Famer. One of the greatest shooters, top 5 shooter of all time, another Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson. The Swiss Army knife himself, the guy who could do a little bit of everything on the floor, Andre Iguodala, another Hall of Famer. I know, keep up, it's a lot of talent. Not to mention one of the most lethal scorers of all time and arguably a top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, the same guy you chased off because of this, your mouth, you talk too much. And that's not even counting the plethora of talent around those guys. The Sean Livingstons, the Barbosas, the Andrew Wiggins, the Jordan Pooles, who you also chased off. Cut it out. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone leaves open. No one guards you.
There are hours and hours and hours of film of just you being left wide open. In fact, anybody can just YouTube or Google or watch any Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving in a straight line and just getting a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to guard the actual talent on the team. Talk about Steve Kerr hindered your career. Bro, Steve Kerr made your career. How dare you? Coming at me? Are you kidding me? I wish I could give my son $200 million if I was a coach. Yo, the NBA doesn't give coaching jobs to guys who may or may not sucker punch one of the players and staff. You need to fall back, Dre. Let's just be frenemies.
Draymond Green is getting absolutely cooked right now. I'm talking deep fried, oven roasted, all of it. No mercy. Now, don't get it confused. He's shown flashes on offense here and there, but never enough for anyone to seriously say, yeah, let him run the whole system. So I'm trying to figure out why he won't just embrace what he's already accomplished, 4 rings and a Defensive Player of the Year, instead of taking shots at his coach and implying he was held back. That just felt unnecessary, straight up. And honestly, the more these players grab a mic, the more wild and low-key corny some of these takes start sounding, especially in this podcast era where everybody's going back and forth. On top of that, it really feels like the Golden State Warriors dynasty is finally starting to fade out. And listen, don't be shocked if Draymond ends up on a new team or even starts seriously thinking about calling it a career next season. Which, let's be real, probably just means he's doubling down on the podcast grind anyway. But that's all I got for this one. Appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in for what's coming next.